feels better out of this comp? Because I'm still 50-50.
Yeah, both sides have it's such a balancing act of, you know, that you have some really good early game threats, some good pivoting into the mid game, and then you also have your scalers. So both of them are kind of running a very, you know, they're like, we want to be at least somewhat powerful throughout the game, where without having, you know, one particular area we are deciding we want to win the game at, it feels like. So I think it's very much a play it by ear, and see how, you know, that first turn, that second turn goes, how can you scale out, what do you want to do?
Yeah, one of the good things that I think Loki W have going for them is that, as a whole, outside of wherever Geist is, they're better laners. Loki W should have better laning phase, especially if they're rushing monster rounds early on at least one person. I see Loki W winning this lane phase, probably getting, if they're playing this really, really well, both bridge buffs. You could turn that into first turn. I could see Loki W having a slight edge in the early game, but it really is quite slight. Ultimately, this is going to come down to skirmish versus team fight. Loki W are going to have the better team fight. They have more sustained damage. They have more big tools. And Leviathan are going to be much more comfortable, much happier if they're finding picks in side lanes, if they are roaming with Bebop and finding isolated members of Loki W.
Yeah, so really loving the adjustments that both teams are making. You know, very, very different kind of style where both sides are running with. Love to see what's going to happen once we jump on in. We're going to throw it to our casters who we've switched it up. It's going to be Philly and Tempo this time around.
Whoa!
Welcome in, Deadlock fans. It's HG Philly B. It's Tempo, and we are here for game number 2 of Leviathan and Low-Key W. Can Low-Key tie it up, or will Leviathan punch their ticket for a rematch against the Abrahams in the grand finals? A very interesting draft, Tempo, and as we were talking in the green room, the Warden is what caught your eye the most.
I am very skeptical of this draft. I need to see what they're going to do with this in action, right? But to me, this Warden pick especially just makes no sense. I think this is some sort of like crazy Lightbringer cook or something, but you know, I'm here to watch. I'm here. I got the popcorn, you know.
That's right. And so we just wanted to highlight that, folks, because that's someone we're going to keep our eyes on, especially because Loki W is playing this more brawly, bursty comp. They want a death ball, just really single somebody out, just kind of just take them down, right, as a group. Whereas Leviathan, they want to play more of that macro game, spread that death ball around with this Mirage and the Ivy, you know, being able to transport around. And plus they got the saves with the Viscous and things of that nature. So 2 different styles going at it. You love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, Leviathan definitely having a very clear game plan here of noticing all these characters that Loki W started to draft towards the start, right? With the Mina, with the Sinclair. Recognizing that they're going to be playing fights that need to be over within like 10 seconds. Then you need to make the fastest fights possible, just burst people down in order to have a chance. Yeah. So Leviathan just kind of went around that draft and then just said, you know what, we're just going to slow this down. Slow these games down as much as possible. And you can see it on the characters they have here as well. I mean, the Geist is here, the Mirage is here, the Silver's here, the Bebop, Viscous. These are characters that all rely on like long fights.
And they're hard to dive, right? There's a lot of escapability or a sustain, right? Do you want to go after Lady Geist when she has Soul Exchange up? Probably not. Bebop with a self-bomb on him, like, that's going to be a little bit dangerous. But this draft is scary, and I'm not just talking about the faces, right? This we saw OCs on this Mina in the previous game just dominate people. But Tempo, it is time to deadlock and drop here into game number 2.
Yeah, and some pretty smart lane matchups to start here. Looking at these drafts, it's very clear to me at least that Loki W are gonna be wanting to play very aggressively in the early game. They have this Mina and they have this Celeste, both characters that we've seen so far this tournament play very aggressively towards that 2 to 3 minute range, just trying to use their early power spikes to just get a bunch of kills in laning.
And something that you were talking about in the green room with me is how this Mina wants to rotate quite early. And so in this lane number 1, keeping the Abrams here as that kind of sustain option, make sure your Guardian doesn't go down, allows that Mina to go out to the other lanes and maybe turn the tide. So I'm seeing the vision here, but against this Mirage and Ivy, it's pretty tough. That's going to be a good sustainable lane for them.
Yeah, but I would actually say that's a really good matchup for this Abrams-Mina lane, because if Abrams is sitting alone against the Mirage and Ivy, they don't really have the most damage potential in that early game. Yeah. They only really have a bunch of wave clear on the Ivy's Kutsus, or Ivy's Entangling Thorns now.
There you go.
But I mean, Abrams is really good at that with that infernal resilience, just surviving these lanes, surviving these massive waves. But looks like there's already a little bit of action here towards that mid lane.
And I'm hyped to see Rick on this Bebop. We've seen him a number of times on this character. And you've mentioned yesterday when we were on the desk how this is, you can transition more to this M1 kind of carry in that role. So we'll see if he hooks in a couple of folks and bursts them down with the silver. As we transition to lane number 3, we're seeing the Geist and the Viscous. That's a hard lane also to take down, a lot of healing and sustainability.
Yeah, but 2 minutes is up, and you can already see Hoot immediately go for that air vent to just see if he can get out and take some boxes, a very deep box run. And looks like it's gonna be pretty successful so far. Gonna go almost behind on them on the minimap, if you look at that. But so far, I mean, not too much action yet.
We'll wait for some of those ultimates and maybe everybody get all 3 abilities, and that's when some of the lockdown will be available. For now, just try to get as much farm as you can so you can get to those areas. Tempu, I want to know how many restorative lockets, we just saw that one on the Sinclair, are going to be in this match. I need the over-under, buddy. I'm saying at least 6.
Oh... I mean, it's not every character that can buy it, but with these lanes, these characters, I would reckon at least like 8.
All right, chat. Well, let us know how many restorative lockets you think we will see as we go after it. I feel like this lane 3, there's some good kill potential with this Sinclair. I feel like that in the draft was almost kind of like a deny pick to make sure that Psy couldn't pilot the Magician.
Yeah, I mean, Psy is pretty proficient on that Magician, but we've also seen him so far play Ivy, I believe, in this tournament, and it is also one of his better characters, I would say, from watching his POV and scrims and such.
Yeah, and I've liked the way that folks have utilized the airdrop as more of this teamfight ultimate now, where they're just picking people up and dropping them quickly for that extra burst of damage. So that's something to highlight as we move forward. Just a few more minutes until those bridge buffs come online, and I think that is where there's going to be a lot of fighting. But Obi Kim under the gun, and it will be Irizumi from range with the puddle to secure the kill.
Viscous giving him a green hug with that splatter and ends up taking down Obikim. Early on, Viscous is a very proficient character. Once he has that singular AP into his splatter, he gets a bunch of early game damage that you won't really expect from a character like Viscous. So he could definitely surprise you in that early game.
And even in the late game, as you were talking to me about it, you've been experimenting with this character in your teams, and he can be a nuisance in the late game, not just the saves, but the damage he can output once you get him fully kitted. So watch this Viscous kind of scaling throughout the match, but it's the Celeste who's getting active early, attacking this Lady Geist, and the Aristocrat will go down.
Early kill here as well on Geist. Not really what you want to see for Leviathan, but I mean, Geist is that type of character where even if you die a couple times in lane, you're still always gonna have a bunch of damage with that life drain. Super strong right now, especially once you have a couple of AP upgrades. As that once you get that duration upgrade, it basically doubles your duration on it, making it really strong and really hard to trade into her.
Hoot being an incredible nuisance in this game, in this early phase, and that opened up the bridge buffs for Loki W. They secured both, and they tried to punish the Unicorn on the rotations, but with this extra air control, air acceleration, so hard to catch. Doesn't matter how much they've changed or difficult to pin down. Is there something that Leviathan can do, Tempu? Do they have to get a number of silence waves, knockdowns? What can they do to stop this Circus Freak?
I mean, there's not really much you can do early on in terms of counter items. You do need your key pieces up and running before you can even talk about that. But so far, I mean, I would say just trying to maybe play a little bit more slowly. You know they're going to be playing very aggressively on you, so maybe you're trying to capitalize that with characters like that Bebop, who's really good at locking characters down in the early game with that hook.
And I feel like they have to punish this Warden. Once they know that Hoot is rotating, maybe play a touch more aggressive. You got the hook of all things. You can get this Warden out of position, and with the Bola as the soft CC, maybe find an elimination. But Hoot, this is the character. This has got to be the one to deadlift them in game 2. For now, we're waiting for the Sinners to arrive at the 8-minute mark. Is there people that you think are going to have done for them most? Is it the Mirage? But we'll take a look at that in just a second. Is the Goo Ball utilized here to stun everybody up and maybe just retreat for now?
Well, pretty strong early game. I mean, it's not like an ability you want to really use too often. It's more like a escape tool at this point. But looks like we have a little bit of a crash coming in here overseas, perhaps facing some of the recent issues. But we'll wait up as he gets back into the game.
All right, I'm seeing 3 restorative lockets, chat. That's halfway to
I'm
our
seeing
goal.
4.
You're seeing 4? Oh, yep, there it is, Vark. I missed that one. All right, awesome. Thank you for the pause, and thank you to Dat Sir, who's our observer today, and thank you for the hook, says the Bebop. But it's the Unicorn after all. So hard to pin down. Ivy is here for the Stoneform Soul, and it will be the first Guardian eliminated in the mid to try to prevent Hoot from those rotations. That's a good counterplay from Leviathan.
Early Headhunter build as well on that Bebop. One of those characters that has a lot of base health, so it makes a lot of sense to get that percentage heal early on. And it's a pretty big burst of damage for a character like Bebop.
Oh, the Lightning's curse is here, and it is hungry, taking down the warden, the police officer. Not long for this world, but the detective, another official of the cursed apple, chasing down the bounty hunter, but she will escape from this one. The Ivy and the Watchers Covenant keeping everybody alive. The Bebop looking to put in some damage, and it will be Fremok who's put to bear, and in the handcuffs she goes. Boot now here to change the tides, and she'll do just that.
Fremok does end up going down. Still a pretty even early game, which I'm quite surprised by. Leviathan really playing well to not give Loki W this early game lead that they're expecting to have. So far, most of the characters on Loki W all a little bit poor, except for that Warden. 6.7k already, as he's just been led to farm this mid lane.
Yeah, and that's because Hoot's been rotating, so you get the singular amount of souls, right? And he's been playing pretty safe, but now with the Guardian gone, he might not feel so comfortable doing that. So heading into the jungle he goes, and maybe to help out the Mina as the Ivy is rotating as well. We look at lane number 3, and I thought there'd be more kills here from... Oh, that was so close. The Essence Bomb trying to finish the job, and it won't be the case, but Rayek on the chase in lane 1 will take down the Guardian. Leviathan trying to dominate this early game. They know they have to keep Loki W in check.
Been playing pretty aggressive here, trying to look for a charge. Ends up missing though. That puddle punch, giving that Viscous a little bit more verticality than expected. He's gonna get out of that. 3k lead so far for Leviathan as Sinners have spawned a minute ago. Both teams probably gonna be looking to play a little bit for those buffs, but maybe a little bit of an early skirmish forming on this right-hand lane beforehand.
Going to shop.
And they're gearing up for this Urn, right, Tempu? They need to set the waves, get their abilities online before they go, and they can't utilize too much to get this Guardian down. Thus, they give it up. A cube is huge to save the Lady Geist, but it's all just to push them away. For this Guardian is their true objective. It is the Magician. Oh my, 1 HP in a dream, and Rayek will rake him up and put him down. There's no more Magician in this one.
There's that early burst damage I was talking about with that Headhunter rush. Slowing bullets now as well, giving him that 4.8k spike, and it's just so important to get that early game for your damage, as buffs seem to be spawning in 10 seconds. Both teams not really in position already, but that's because they're playing very aggressively. Even Bebop here going super aggressive on this left-hand lane onto the Celeste, but Celeste gonna get out of it. Perhaps, maybe even gonna try and get towards that buff, but no. Silver already in position as Celeste is forced to back off.
The Urn has descended into the cursed apple. The teams now vying for it. No Celeste in this one. No Shiny Wonder to utilize the boot kick in. And the Hex immediately. I thought she's a wolf, but now she's a rabbit. The Silver trying to stand tall, but it is Rayek, of course, on this Bebop, who picks up the kill on Obi Kim again. The Urn stolen away by Hoot. How did they return into this fight? Loki W secure the neutral objective, but not quite. They have to run it home first.
Yeah, interesting that Hoot decides to take the risk there and get that Urn, making sure that Leviathan can't play it, as Leviathan do definitely have the advantage, I would say, in that early game for Urn fights, because they are so tanky. It's so hard to really disturb them, but disturb them they will try. Listic in a lot of trouble here, though. Overseas kind of just running him down. 8 HP, can he get out of this one?
think they'll be able to. Yeah, they've got the schmovement to do it, but I gotta highlight Trooper 2855 for taking that Guardian down. But this defense, this box defense from Leviathan around this urn drop-off point, making sure that low-key W cannot contest, and with most of their ultimates on cooldown, they don't feel strong enough to do it. Fortunately, they've been getting some Guardians back their way, which is good, but now this Walker under scrutiny. This could be their next objective. Do they have the gas in the tank to take it down? The Infernus on the run. The Mirage is here to push him away. The Magician also, now the Ivy in support. It's a 2v2 battle, but the defense will hold.
Good defense so far, as low-key W are looking towards that urn play, but Overseas gotta get caught out early. Aven's dropping the urn to start this fight. Still has a lot of HP, but Bebop bomb on him, still kind of full. Urn is picked up once again by Freemog. They're gonna look to do it, but they managed to get it. Bebop clearing the lines. Listic in a lot of trouble now, as Freemog is using every single ability to try and get him down. Listic does go down. Osus gets traded though, and 1-for-1 with an urn. Not really looking like the good fight that they wanted.
And that was a great score from the Lycan, as the curse now beckons. Changes into the werewolf form, and low-key W, you wanted them to win these early, but they didn't have the ultimates in the tank to do it. Now the Shining Wonder will chase everybody down. It'll bounce through the battlefield, but then dissipate. Is now the Lycan's curse. I think werewolves eat unicorns for breakfast last time I checked the lore, and who knows that strategy, so she runs away. I think so far Leviathan, even though the souls are level, they've had extreme map control and good fights on these neutral objectives.
Yeah, they've certainly been playing the early game really well here. Sai now, though, looking to start a little bit of his own fight here. A lot of members of Leviathan grouping onto this right-hand side. So perhaps pressure this Walker a little bit. Pretty spread out, though, so far. Actually, this Visk is retreating from that right-hand side. Going to help this Silver a little bit more, as low-key W kind of just grouping towards that blue lane. So this Silver could be in a lot of trouble.
No, the Lycan Curse now available, and it does beckon Howl through the Cursed Apple. Everybody knows what that means. The Lycan wants to get active. They're chasing down the Detective, but can they find a juicier target? No, they have to back off. They don't want to dive too deep, as the Infernus is here. A great cube to keep the Aristocrat alive for now. She will jump out of there, and that's a copy on the Lycan's Curse. We don't see that every day.
Yeah, this is one of the new things that people have been doing a lot in EU, where they're playing a really early gun start on that Sinclair and just kind of just stealing that Silver ult. Because you get like a 10-second cooldown off of it once it's done, and a 10-second cooldown Silver ult is very scary on a Sinclair.
Very scary indeed. That's a lot of HP to chunk through. But I want to highlight, Tempu, the map in terms of how these teams are vying against each other. This macro game from Leviathan, they're spreading everybody away from low-key W. They can't group as effectively as they would like, and then they can find the pick, especially on the Listic there. One of my favorite players going down, almost the knock from the air vent. The Infernus will scrape away, but the Bounty Hunter knows the quarry is close. It won't dive too deep into the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely trying to play that aggressive jungling style as well. Silver does kind of allow Leviathan to do that at least, and Sinclair gonna be in position now. Buffs do come online. Silver versus fake Silver. Who's gonna win this?
Oh no! The Lycan versus Lycan, but it's more just an escape tool. Now you see me, now you don't. But the chase is on this Lycan. There can only be one in the Cursed Apple, and O became slaughtered in broad daylight.
Imposter down as Freemog chases down the fake Silver. Overkim going down. Urn now getting picked up though by Irisumi. Freemog allowing that aggressive Urn play, as now they're just gonna back off here for Leviathan. Some members, however, not really getting the memo, still playing very aggressively towards this Walker, and Overseas in a little bit of trouble.
How much trouble? Will only the story will tell. The Infernus blasting through a couple, and Cosmetical from the heavens is there to assist. Overseas overstays their welcome and goes down. But this is what Lady Geist does. Just absorbs resources, forces you to bring numbers, and that is just the bait for you to now go and turn this urn. Because look, how many people are there? About 3 for the side of Leviathan. They have 3 members to go up against. Will this be an urn for Walker trade tempo?
Definitely could be, but that urn is sitting on top of that Walker, but Overseas going down on that right-hand lane was a really, really bad thing for Leviathan, as they just lose a lot of that tempo that they need to secure this urn. But Walker gonna get traded actually for this urn, perhaps. No, it's gonna get dropped perfectly. Sinclair really playing that well. Visca's now using a lot of tools to try and stop them from taking this urn. Abrams in here as well, trying to create this fight, and this could go either way.
Leviathan dumping everything they have to secure the second urn, the seismic impact, with not much impact on this one, but Hoot has arrived and will eliminate one. 2 walkers now down by Loki W. The urn picked up and scored immediately. Hoot will sacrifice their life for the neutral objective.
And all this comes down to that miscommunication on that right-hand lane. If Overseas doesn't die there, they have so much more agency to play together and just immediately go for this urn as a big group. But they were so split in that early urn fight that it was just hard for them to do anything.
But now what can Leviathan do? They're down 2 walkers and they need to get one to get at least a flex slot online, utilize some of the souls they've gathered. But they have a lot of jungle farm here too, tempo, that they can go through as we enter sort of the mid game. There's nobody with a clear advantage. Maybe this Mina or the Warden a little bit scary here, and nobody has eclipsed the 20,000 soul mark on Leviathan. They really need to farm up.
Yeah, I mean, this Mina and the Warden, however, though, giving a lot of problems towards Leviathan if they decide to start using them. But Warden now finding himself in a little bit of trouble. But there's that silence coming out from that Warden. His main reason to actually get picked right now. That silence can be very strong, but I guess not enough to dispel magics on the side of Leviathan yet, as that is one of the main counters towards that playstyle.
Nas Naksha popped and looking to pop the life of the Lady Geist, but now it is the life drain to keep her topped up. A quick skirmish in the lane number 3, and I think it might turn into an all-out brawl as the majority of the members are here to fight. But all the while, this Warden is steadily moving forward, steadily creeping up to that soul mark. I mean, they are just leaving this guy to farm, and it has to be Zergy, the carry, back in the competitive scene to carry the fight. Oh my word! The burst fire doing the burst damage onto the Celeste. Now the Lycan's Curse has been brought to bear. Just one more slash will do it, but this Celeste, so dang shifty.
Celeste, one of those characters that you really cannot, lock down very well. Knockdown being one of the best tools to do so, but one dispel magic or that counter spell, and it's just super hard to do anything about it. Such a scary character, and we were talking about it a little bit as well in the green room, how strong a good Celeste with good movement can be.
Yeah, and how strong she's kind of in the late game now, right? As they've adjusted some of the power and the abilities, and it's the airdrop, a barrage from the heavens by the Ivy, and now they've locked this Warden down, but it's a turnaround as the last stand will do its namesake. Overseas destroyed in that fight. Barak will gladly give their life to get their Warden where they need to be, and OC's blasted into oblivion.
One Ivy went into the closet, and Ivy and a Barrage came out of it. Barrage using that teleport to perfection, but they actually end up losing more members than they kill from the enemy side. Osis going down there as a 1-for-1 trade with Rake for Overseas became that 2-for-1. But now a lot of pressure here for Leviathan onto that right-hand Walker, but Rake already rotating in, so Leviathan just decides to play it a little bit more safe and perhaps look for some other engagement.
The urn, though, should be arriving at the 20-minute mark, and Loki W in prime position to take it, but a teleporter from the Silver and the Bebop. They're looking to turn this around as they contest the bridge buff. The Lady Geist with the soul exchange in a timely fashion, and now the parries and the stuns come through. A quick secure of the bridge buff and a quick secure of a couple of kills. Leviathan still showing they've got some life in the tank. This is Silver doing everything for him.
Go back here, is Primox saying right now as Listic just runs away on that Abrams. Silver, one of those characters with a lot of movement, but if you're out of stamina, it's super hard to close that gap to people.
Yeah, you were saying what she's got like 2 stamina to start, so you gotta build some items, right, to really help her get with those movements. But it is this Ivy who's turning in the urn, but there's a few members to contest. Rayek, they've been quiet over the last couple of minutes. They need to make their presence felt in this contest to secure this urn for free. Ivy jumps in. Can they get the dunk? No. The Stoneform Soul will make sure nobody else gets there. The Nox Nostra, it capitalized on leverage to perfection, and the kill on the side is sublime. The puddle bouncing people up and bouncing them down, but no urn has been turned in just yet. A full-on battle has broken out in Rayek. Now you see him, and now he's 6 feet under the urn, picked up and turned in.
LokiW doing a really good job of keeping this game in their control and just utilizing this Mina as this very scary threat in this 10 to 20 minute range. But Mina will start to lose a little bit of power as this Warden needs to be the one starting to carry these fights for LokiW. Celeste as well also losing a little bit of souls, I would say, compared to what you want to see that Celeste on. But mid-boss now, gonna be the response here by LokiW. Gonna get it immediately down, but looks like the contest is coming in.
Has to be, oh my word, Bedlam in the pit, and the kill feed is all blue. The rejuve secured by LokiW. You didn't even see Leviathan for a second, immediately bursted down from Loki. They take the fight easy.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what we were saying, right? They have so many carries that once they're actually online and they can keep this lead at this 20-minute mark, it becomes very hard to deal with LokiW for Leviathan, as all they can really do is just try and out-survive their damage. But they need some souls to be able to do that. So, I mean, if this game goes long, then I would actually say Leviathan still has a chance of winning this. But LokiW looking really scary right now, but Rayek deciding to try and change that. Hoot in a lot of trouble after that hook, but not gonna go down.
I mean, the trades have just continuously been in the favor of LokiW. They got the urn, they traded Walker for it, fine. They got the mid-boss, and they don't lose anybody for it. I mean, everything going their way right now. If they get this silver, that could be huge. One Rejuve Crystal popped by Hoots. They take the unicorn down. The detective is under a ton of scrutiny here. Everybody chasing after him, but so damn fast is this Abrams. But on the turnaround here, Cosmetical takes down their opposite number. This is not what you want to see if you're a Leviathan fan. They're expending everything to get these Rejuves off the board. Continuing, they go on to the silver. It is a turnaround here. The werewolf is in the crosshairs of everybody, splattered in oil, and the flame dash will go charging through to burn them to a crisp. They've got a 1 HP and a Dream. The Lycan's curse now saying, I'm the better werewolf out here, but it's really just to take the base Guardian's attention. Rayek will fall through the mix of it all, but Fremont somehow, someway survives.
Fremont ending up getting out of there barely, but LokiW just growing that lead, growing that amount of pressure to the point where they can even fight them inside of their base. But now they're deciding to slow the game down. They realize that there's a lot of farm on the map right now that they can take. So you just see them trying to slow the game down a little bit. But if ever Leviathan overstep, then I can guarantee you that LokiW are gonna have 6 people there within 2 seconds.
LokiW firmly in control of this 30k soul lead. The next urn arriving in a few seconds. I mean, does Leviathan contest this tempo, or do they let this one go and try to just kind of farm their jungle, push their lanes in, or find something else across the map?
I don't know really what they want to do here. I think LokiW just maybe slowing the game down. As I said, you know, trying to take that farm, but looks like that's not the case, as Hoot is trying to go very aggressive here along with Listic. A little bit of a fight may be happening, but Hoot gonna try to kite it and wait for the team to show up.
And this is what the unicorn does. It's like, oh, we think we can get him, we think we can get him, and then as you're chasing them down, you get ganked from all sides. It's really just a trap. The bridge buffs will be spawning in 1 second. Boom. And right in position perfectly are LokiW. They're known to be on top of those bridge buffs, and on top of as well, the hovering around it, making sure nobody else can contest. I mean, Leviathan, they're struggling in the macro, they're struggling in the mo. Scott, it can't be if the Ivy goes down, it'll stun the goo ball. through the cursed apple. Luckily, the assistant is here. The magician out of dodge. The Celeste, though, wants to turn the tides of the fight. Nice zipline tech there to try to chase down the Viscous, but he'll get out of dodge.
End up getting out there, but Rayek in a lot of trouble, but gonna pop that Hyper Beam though, as Osis, actually that's Opikim stealing that Hyper Beam from Rayek, trying to hit Osis, and not really gonna be successful in it. Freemark trying to desperately clear this wave, but look what's happening on this right side.
Overseas, they have to get this Walker down. They have to get it quick, because look, a tidal wave of blue is about to crash upon him.
All right, minefield incoming.
Uh-oh, this is going to be scary, folks. And also the urn is on this side as well. All 12 members of the server here. It's going to be a bloodbath, a life drain to try to sustain through it all. But the final stand will be popped in just a moment. The Abrams is standing tall in this one. A fireworks display. Pulling a rabbit out of the hat. The Shining Wonder now just pestering everyone through the battlefield. And it's Hoot, of course, who comes out on top, taking down Rayek. There's not much the Bebop can do. Freebot, oh no! Just eliminated 6 feet under, and it is this Warden. You were worried about him, but we're seeing the vision now as he's getting kill after kill. There's nothing the Leviathan can do.
Yeah, Warden at this point in the game becomes a really scary threat, and especially once you have a lead. But I feel like maybe another pick could have been better, but hey, you know what? Sergey proving me wrong here, saying, you know what? We're just gonna play as Warden, and to be fair to him, it has actually been looking a lot better than I was expecting.
And we were concerned about Sergey, right? He's been streaming a lot. We love to watch him stream. He's got the ball, mouse, etc., but hasn't played competitively in quite some time. And that's a different tempo, a lot of stress and tension and wear and tear on your mental, but looking pretty good here today. Another urn picked up, but I mean, this is the trades that keep happening. This desperate base defense, it has to be clean for Leviathan, knowing the mid boss will be arriving in 1 minute. Another pause. It's called pause lock for a reason, Tempu.
Yeah, I mean, this copied Ivy ult here to take Sergey out of this situation here, but could be scary, because I believe Sai is gonna continue and try to follow with his own Ivy ult if you're looking at the minimap, but no. Ivy gonna go towards that Hoot instead, that Celeste, and could be good to do that as well, but not managing to find them, so they're just gonna slow it down, clear some waves, and then perhaps look to consolidate their numbers a little bit more.
I'm glad they didn't chase Leviathan, because right now they need to play defense. The waves are set against them. They need to clear these and clear them quickly. They have a couple of camps on that right-hand side that they can utilize. Tempo, we haven't really had a chance to talk about these team fight capabilities from both of these squads. Is there a team that you appreciate more when it comes to these 12-person engagements?
I mean, if they were even, I would say Leviathan would definitely be favored, but they're not really even right now, so that doesn't really matter. Low-key WW just having such a big lead right now. It's really hard for Leviathan to start these big team fights, and that's actually exactly what you want to do for Leviathan before these team fights. Take out their tank, and this could actually turn into Leviathan's favor.
Wrecking Ball now unleashed upon the battlefield, looking for a couple of stuns, but Hoot from the heavens once more will find these eliminations. This mage just bursting people into oblivion. Another pause in an untimely fashion. 2 members down for Leviathan, 1 for Low-Key W, and 48 HP here for Varric. Oh yeah, the Bebop's taking him down immediately. This is a great shot from Datser, our observer today. But I mean, okay, let's say, what are the implications here, right? If Leviathan wins this, they go straight for mid, depending if they have the numbers? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this could definitely be a really good fight if they manage to win this. Killing Rake here would definitely be a good stepping stone into doing that. But looking at the HP right now, Overseas a little bit low, does have that life swap in that ultimate that could manage to save her, but I don't believe Rake has such a thing. And this Bebop is looking very diveable right now for this Sinclair.
Okay, so a bit of, win cons for either side, right, in terms of what they need to do. But the reason these teams are clashing is to go for that mid boss. Something else I would like to highlight for the folks is the wave state currently. All of the waves, at least on the 1 and 3 lanes, are pushing towards the base for Leviathan. So this is good for them. Even if they lose the fight, they'll get the mid boss, but then Loki W has to waste time going back to their base, getting those troopers eliminated, and then pushing forward. So there's some saving grace there for Leviathan, but really they want to get this mid boss and utilize the push the troopers are giving them.
Yeah, but this fight could be really bad for Loki W, as said, but it could also be really good for them, because if they manage to get this, they have the space to just give those side waves to some people who need some money. Say this Celeste, for example, or that Infernus, if he manages to survive, and then they can just shove in this blue lane and take some shrines for themselves. And shrines right now are actually really strong at the highest level, because if you get a shrine, then these waves will just auto push for you, allowing you so much more space on the map right now.
Tempo, I've got some good news for you. There are 8 restorative lockets right now in the server. You were spot on. It's like, that's why you're the analyst on this game. On chat, I hope you got your numbers correct there as well. I mean, yeah, so strong is that restorative locket, just getting the stamina back. And I think it's so important in this movement-based game known as Deadlock, right? As we were looking over the items and the ability power scaling, is there something that you're noticing? I'm noticing a max uppercut here on Rayek. Let's see, can he finish the job onto Varric? He escapes somehow, some way. The flame dash able to get him out.
Hey, I mean, job done, I guess. 5 seconds of gameplay is all we are getting here, but Rayek needing to leave the game once again. Seems like there's some very big issues going on with him right now, and I mean, for Loki W's sake, I hope they will be able to play this one out, because this could be the ticket they get towards that Game 3 and towards that Grand Finals, possibly.
Varric had full restorative locket charges, Tempu, and was able to utilize them quickly and then dash out of there to survive. I mean, that's just some heads up play, especially if their computer is lagging out, etc. We saw some of these items, and it was, max hook and max uppercut for the side of Rayek. So really want to do that max HP damage, so on and so forth. Okay, the teams now are ready to clash once again. It's so challenging in the midst of a chaotic fight such as this to pause it. You've got to get your bearings, but also maybe some time for strategy. Whoa, going totally perpendicular here is the Mirage as he's dashing on away. We turn our sides to Varric as OCs falls amidst the scuffle, drops the bag and claims it easy. I think the teams, after all that is said and done, maybe will back off.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good fight here for Loki W, and one we said it could be a good fight for Leviathan turned out to be in Loki W's favor, and that means that they can just take this mid-boss, and as I said, Rayek going back to clear those waves. Maybe a contest coming through here, but Irasumi gonna back off and just give them the mid-boss, and this could certainly be the game decider.
Certainly could be. Well, there's some time that will be taken off the board as they have to deal with these troopers, kind of clean up the lanes, if you will. And that will start with Varric in lane number 1. Now the rest of the team will respawn here, and they've got some jungle that they can capture. This is about learning how to play from behind. You will never always be in a winning position in your games, folks. It's an ebb and flow, a tug of war, and this is all where the strategy comes in and where your mental must be stable. But against 3 Rejuves, it's easy to get tilted, Tempu.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get tilted, and we've seen some signs that Leviathan are definitely one of the more tilting teams. We saw yesterday that they were playing a very lifeless form of Deadlock once they were behind, and they're getting the same giving the same vibes right now. At least 50k down is not something you want to see from a team like Leviathan.
Yeah, and 40k souls on Cosmetical and Zergy, both of them on fire. Not one you want to contest in a dark alleyway. Fortunately, the urn will be in an advantage state for Leviathan, and that might help them get some of that soul lead back. But they have to get the urn first, Tempu, and that will be picked up by Varric. They're going to hold on to this with everything they got.
Holding on for dear life with that urn as they look to do it. Celeste, one of the better urn runners in the game because of that extra air control and air acceleration that you do get. And they're doing it so fast that Leviathan don't even seem to want to try to respond to this. They just get it free.
Wow, an easy touchdown scored by Hoots.
Ooh,
and they have
look at the base.
Oh, is this going to be a
Leviathan.
backdoor? This is Tempu. If they get at least one shrine down, this could be massive because it gets all of the troopers in that lane in their favor, but it might be a like-for-like trade.
They get out as well.
There has to be some defense mounted. Okay, all right, they're going to be trading shrines across, and it's on opposite sides of the map too, but do Leviathan focus their sights on this mid lane walker, and they're just giving up their base for free? What is happening out here in the streets of the Cursed Apple? The ethereal shift to keep Hoot alive with the Shining Wonder to take down Size. It bounces through the battlefield again, sacrificing everything. Is Leviathan to get both shrines down? What is going on here in the Cursed Apple?
Massive fight here as Irisumi gonna try to use a little bit of his stuff on them, but Freemark as well, using everything he can to survive this. Celeste not gonna be able to do it. Hoot getting that early kill, 3 breaches still at play for Loki W, as Oz is now gonna go down as well. Sergi on that Warden being such a threat, and this is what you want to see from that Warden late game. He's just doing so much in these fights. Same thing here. Good life swap though coming out of Overseas. I think actually that was from Obi Kim. I think Overseas gonna hit it himself. Not gonna be able to die.
I know.
No, yeah, just lingering on that one. I do like that Leviathan have made the you know, a lot of adjustments here. You know, they felt like that they struggled in that early game, and they really want to adjust and force Loki W onto these weirder picks, onto, you know, changing up their game plan as well, and they definitely did that. And I'm excited to see how it plays out. Those last 2 picks really adjusting how that team runs.
I think realistically, Vrake is playing Doorman as my guess,
Yeah,
based on what I've got going on here. And then
based on everything.
on the other side of this, we did want to talk about scaling and lanes and things like that. Loki W, I do think, have good lane power. I don't think their scaling actually stacks up to Leviathan this time around. I think the Doorman really hurts your scaling in the long term. Your mid game is still fantastic though, and Loki W were able to close it out to a 70k souls lead just last game. So I don't mind it, but they do need to have a similar performance here.
Definitely. But to see us through to the end of this best of 3, we will throw it back to Philly and Tempu as they will guide us through whatever is going to happen.
Welcome in, everybody. What a fantastic draft phase. That's one of my favorite part of any MOBA because it's such a strategic portion of the game. And we were talking about it. Oh, if you take the silver, then you know you're leaving up the Mina Sinclair. Then how are you going to counter that? And it was just counter to counter to counter to counter. This Doorman, though, I mean, this is maybe the best pick of the draft.
Yeah, I really, really like the Doorman here. It's one of those, like, picks that you really need to specialize against an enemy team comp, right? But it's one of the main counters towards a Billy, because when Billy is ulting, even though he has unstop built into that ult, right, that only activates after he pulls everyone, so you can Doorman ult him, and suddenly those chains disappear from your Mina. Same thing with the Warden. Warden's ulting, Warden's being a menace. What do? You just Doorman ult him, then he's useless in that fight.
And the same with the silver. If silver goes like a curse, bye-bye. Check into the hotel. We'll see you later. And then the duration will go out. So Vrake is going to have to do a lot if they are piloting this character to just be shifty in the fights and target prioritize effectively. So let's see what we've got here. OCs, that was also our big question mark. If they weren't on the Mina, the Mirage felt a little flat. They will be on the Warden in this one, looking to carry the game.
Yeah, and I really like that they're putting him on one of these characters that can get a little bit more active once you have some souls, because Osis is one of those players that's really aggressive, but as I actually predicted behind the scenes, is what's gonna be Hoot playing that Doorman, as he was playing that earlier in this tournament in some of the screenshots, and Rake is actually gonna take over his Celeste, which kind of makes sense for both of them. Hoot has been playing this semi-support kind of role for Loki W as of recently, with stuff like the Kelvin coming to mind. So putting him on that Doorman just allows him that flexibility and to just try and change the game.
And you were saying even Hoot playing the Celeste in game 2 was more of this like support utility kind of character. So it just makes sense that Hoot is filling into this Doorman role. As we take a look at lane number 1, they want to get this Billy off to a good start, but this is a Doorman Sinclair lane. That's not one you see every day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thought process of that is that they can both rotate really well. Doorman, you know, can put down that door onto that lane, go for a longer box run, and then just door his way back to that lane. So that extra movement speed will allow them to play both of them pretty roaming, but still have that wave under control.
We peep over at lane number 3. I think there's going to be a lot of kill potential here, especially with this Mina and Abrams. The Ivy under duress. The Grey Talon must come to the lane partner's aid. A lot of burst from both of these characters, especially with the power shot. So I feel like Datser, our observer, might be lingering on this lane from time to time. But let's move over to lane 2. I mean, what are we seeing over here, Tempo?
I mean, this middle lane is one that's just defined by a lot of strength in that early game, right? Guys, Celeste and the Silver Warden are all characters that are really strong early, but this Silver is definitely going to be a character that wants to roam out of this lane to give that Warden that priority, just like we saw in that game too. But Cosmetical now gonna go down here early on, and that's really, really pivotal for Leviathan to secure that kill onto the Mina early.
And that's what we were talking about. Lane 3 is going to be a bloodbath. Just everybody going down. And even the Silver making their presence felt there for just a moment on the end of their box run. Leaving for OCs to gather some souls in the mid. We saw the same thing from Zergy last game. They just left him to his own devices. And then he came out a massive raid boss. So a lot to of things to look out for. This, I mean, Obi-Kim and the Hoot, this lane though, I kind of want to keep going back to it. I mean, how active does Hoot need to get like into this, right? Does he need to be just all across the map just early on? But then Sinclair, you're leaving that by himself, and just Billy can then push this lane through. This is very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a pretty strong lane combo here. Doorman having that door set down already, and nice of Valve to, you know, make a change where you can see that on the minimap now. Definitely good for these tournament productions, but Mina now once again already getting caught out again, and Cosmetical maybe being a little bit too overconfident given his Mina performance from that game too, as he's playing this a little bit too aggressively in my opinion.
And sometimes that's the Abrams effect. You're like, I've got this huge guy in front of me. I know I can just, you know, get up in there and try to play aggressive, but there's still a lot of power on that side, and the stone form can't be underestimated. A quick invade from the Doorman, just peeks in, steals one of the denizens, and then backs away. So cheeky from Hoot to deny some early farm.
Buying that farm indeed, as he looks to play this pretty aggressively still. Sinclair already pushing up, but Abrams now getting into a little bit of an altercation with this Ivy, and GT Cosmetical once again actually gonna get the parry down this time. A lot of burst damage potentially coming onto this Ivy, but Cosmetical now also in a little bit of trouble. 2v1, not gonna be able to find any kills as he looks to back off, goes back in a little bit, but no one really gonna go down, as on another lane Freemark ends up being the one going down.
Wow, Cosmetical, their picture frame was with tears, and that's because they had 1 HP. The Sanguine Retreat saving them overseas, sending Hoot 6 feet under in the cube to keep the Billy alive. Now the Sinclair on the chase. Oh, it tries to go for the punch. The parry, a beat down from the Billy, gets a Duque in lane 1.
Yeah, this has been a really active early game so far for both sides, and so far I would say it's favoring Leviathan a lot more, as if you're looking at who's down souls right now, it's a lot of those characters that you want to see get active early on. That Mina and that Doorman especially both being a little bit behind, and it's not really ideal, but looks like they're going to try to play a little bit aggressively once again onto Rayek. On that Talon, not really one we see super often with that character pairing, but Cosmetical gotta go down once again, and I mean, you're starting to think that he's been paid to throw this or something.
I mean, he has to be the primary target because that's the person that's going to carry them through this early and mid-game portion. The last stand popped by the Warden, and it was only more for defense than anything. But Freemark active early on in this, twice a visit to lane number 3 and 2 kills going their way. Ivy now ping, doing their duty to clear some waves and potentially get down Zergy, who's playing on the lady. Guys, the stone form so close, and it will be enough. OCs secures the kill.
Yeah, interesting design, actually having a melee lifesteal on that Ivy. Very rare item to see, I would say, on Ivy, but I guess if he's playing this aggressively and in these very aggressive lanes, that makes a lot of sense, and the Leviathan are responding super well to this early aggression by LokiW, even doing it themselves.
I actually like that, the melee lifesteal, because you stone for somebody, as soon as you pop out, you punch, get some healing back, right? Then fly away or slide away, whatever it is. But yeah, so much burst potential. The Guided Owl is surveying the battlefield. A nice U-turn. It sees two, goes in, a double stun. That's really all about that. No stacks yet for the Great Talon, but some good damage dealt. Making our way through this early game, and it's been all action. A cart, but a cube to counter it, and now this Viscous has to run. Irizumi now takes a shot to the back, and will go 6 feet up.
Yeah, that's the power of this lane, but Overseas gonna get parried here. Billy gonna get taken down, and this Doorman Sinclair lane kind of picking up the pace now. Finally starting to see some of the kills we were expecting out of this lane early on, as you know, both Sinclair and Doorman are some very strong threats in that early game.
Here's the turnaround, the airdrop into the stone form, the Nox Nostra to counter it, and it's all to get the Guardian down. Listic will do just that. This is some tempered aggression from the LokiW side. Fantastic work from them.
Cosmelica there extruding some of those aim issues that you will see so often in your ranked games. Missing all 3 denies, but enough about that. Double silver action now on this left-hand lane as we're still getting more and more active, and souls have turned out pretty well so far for both sides. LokiW surmounting a little bit of a comeback, but Freemark going down here is definitely gonna keep that comeback going. LokiW playing super aggressively now onto Overseas.
Fremont dove a little too deep, got caught, and so will Overseas as the Savior Friend Syndrome in full-on effect just in time for the Sinners to get activated. But can there be a rebuttal here? A stone form crashes through and smashes Listic into the dirt. The Guardian is still doing its job, keeping everybody alive. A flask, and now the Sanguine Retreat bashes into a sign. Oh no! The Mina still under some scrutiny here as the dive comes through. The Warden will take all the damage to take down their opposite number, and it'll do just that.
Guns coming out here from Irizumi, doing a lot of damage with that goo ball, but not gonna be enough. Leviathan now trying to do a little bit of a counter push here. Guardian getting traded by LokiW, but they're gonna just put 3 people here and try to say, you know what, we can just take your Guardian as well.
And a lot of bounty on these early Guardians, so you want to get them, but the Shining Wonder to push everybody away. This is a great angle from Fremont. Just a few more shots will do it. Yes, the Doorman getting everybody out of dodge. He is at your service, but an Owl to stun them just for a moment. Now, a re-aggression from the side in blue. This is a goo ball opportunity. They do get Irizumi to lock up just for a moment, and they will lock him down. Break with the kill.
Slowing down the game a little bit as we do head into that 10-minute mark where these bridge buffs do spawn. Bridge buffs really valuable at this level of play, so you're gonna see both sides try and group a little bit around them. So far though, LokiW seeming to have that early aggression on towards them, but look at this Billy playing super aggressively inside of the LokiW jungle. Not really gonna get punished as well, as I don't think they know he was there, but Abrams now going onto Irizumi. Listic could be in a little bit of trouble, but doing the Abrams tech to just get himself out of there.
And now they leave the Lady Geist to the Wolf Pack, basically. Another cube to keep Billy in it for now. The Walker is there to stand tall and be a bastion of safety for the squad. The Lycan's Cursed unleashed, but it's just what's effective is it gonna be, and more effective is the Cosmetical. Gets hit after hit, takes down Overseas just in time for the earn run for the side of Raid.
Big gonna push down this mid lane. Doorman gonna find that hotel guest and use it onto that onto Sai, giving a little bit of an early invitation, but Sai maybe gonna be able to get out of this. Slowing bullets getting put down on him early. Sai though doing some movement shenanigans, getting absolutely out of this Doorman's range, but Stoneform gonna come down, and I don't think thinks he has the damage for this, so he's just gonna back off.
Uh-oh, he's gonna be chased down. The blasted Billy swinging his bat to and fro, looking for the home run hit. But the doorman ever so shifty. And all your attention is paid onto him. It should have been paid onto the Guardian. The final one of the game taken down. The shoulder charge now from the Abrams. A battering ram in full effect, trying to deny this Warden on a kill streak. Won't find anything there now. Tempo, as we're waiting for the next objectives to come online, it's about gathering your farm, getting your sinners. Is there an item spike that we're looking for? And thank you for that, sir, to bring up the abilities as well.
Yeah, I mean, for most of these characters right now, it's just going to be about getting those early 4.8k investments in their respective categories. You see a lot of them building towards that. Geist, for example, getting that early Spirit Spike to help that life drain, even though Geist is regularly known as a little bit of a gun carry. But nowadays, getting that early Spirit Spike for the life drain is just really pivotal.
Yeah, Lady Geist is that resource sponge, right? Just absorbing ability after ability, and then you have nothing left in the tank as the rest of the reinforcements come through. So this is just the ebb and flow of, post-laning phase, right? Okay, how do we find people when they're caught out in the jungle? The Owl, extremely good at finding people. And so this is that ebb and flow that you want to see, but another shoulder charge in and a Q for the save right over the top here. The stone form, and now the door to send them to safety. I mean, that was just a wild engagement there.
I see Mina.
Cage coming out, but no prisoners taken by it, as Leviathan are starting to lose a little bit of the control of the game. Osis being on fire right now, but the rest of the team looking a little bit weak, as Loki-W do have that sole lead, and they're going to try to use it to get out of this, actually. Rake being the one in trouble. Mina using everything he can to get that lead, but now Mina is going to go in here, Cosmetical, trying to get Osis down. If they manage to get that kill, that would be a really big soul swing, but not going to be able to do it.
It's been scrappy thus far, for sure. It's like almost getting a kill, expending some resources, abilities. Look at all the ultimates that were just used in that last fight. I mean, these timers, they're pretty long at this stage, but Sai with a great rebuttal onto the Lady Geist of all things, and now the Abrams is the one in the crosshairs. The burst fire and the kick moving forward. A couple of all the things on cooldown. Get the form, get it. No, the Abrams with a magical escape uses the seismic impact to fly away in superhero fashion. Will they continue to chase this? The airdrop even expended, and still to the rooftops we take the battle now. Is Break here to help with some bodyguard action, but not enough. Listic, he goes down.
They've taken our blue walker.
Listic going down as Freemark is taken to the Baroness Hotel. Slowing Hank's gonna be popped on him as well. Slowing Bullets almost coming out, but Rake having so much damage, but he's gonna turn into the Lycan.
A big curse and a big turnaround. That is what the Silver is known for, right? Just turning the tables when you least expect it. Through the midst of all that, we've seen Listic do this before, where he's kind of just the bait and allows space to be created across the map. And Cosmetical getting that mid walker down, that's one of the hardest ones to take if you are on the offense. And so getting it out early when it has the least HP is incredibly impactful. And with their sole lead, they have opportunities to utilize that open flex slot.
Like they're gonna slow down once again. But look at Sergi right now, gonna get trapped a little bit by this chain gang, as he's gonna turn into a bunny as well. So much pressure coming out, but Overseas gonna manage to get that kill onto Sergi. But look at this, chained once again by the Sinclair, who steals the Billy ult to take down Billy himself. Cube now as well, gonna try to protect that bag almost, and I'm losing track of what's happening here.
Well, I know one thing, Kurt Apple is on the fire as the Walker was easing tons of folks burning in because of it. All the while, it's Vrake once again who's picked up the urn. That's been their main job test thus far. We haven't seen too much else from them. Another Baroness, it will be used just for Cindy Ward will mobilize the tournament, and back from more will be a cart. I should know it is now Irizumi here who's helping out the doorman under duress. He's known for the shot chest, and then Oh my goodness.
Is he out?
Everything aside.
I don't know if he's out just yet, but looks like he is out.
Okay, Tempo, can you hear? Okay. I got word from production. I was lagging out a little bit. I
Looks like
apologize for
they're-
that, folks.
Yeah, technical issues aside though, pretty active game so far as Earn is now the next turn of play. Loki W trying to surmount a little bit of a push towards that Earn spot. Obikin gonna try to clear it early on with that assist and clear out those traps from GT. And gonna be successful so far, but Rake surely will have some more to put down here as Leviathan are not giving this Earn up for free.
This is going to be a full bloodbath, but what ultimates do they have, Tempo, to utilize Leviathan? Really just the chain gang and maybe the owl on top of it if they're lucky. Or on the flip side, the audience participation can be incredibly instrumental in this and the seismic impact to lock everybody down. So this is not an Earn fight I think Leviathan wants to take, and they'll let the Earn go for now.
Yeah, Earn not really being the priority here as they recognize that Leviathan have a really good contest on it, and them having control of that delivery spot just not really giving Loki W that window they need to secure it, as Loki W are gonna just make sure they can fix these waves first to give them that space to go for an all-out team fight.
And we might just have that on our hands. In the meanwhile, Zergy will be farming on the right-hand side. They need this Lady Geist to be the sole leader and carry them through the later portions of the match. Ivy will be there to contest, make sure the lane states are stable. So much riding on this Earn. The Doorman just trying to deliver any package he can, but being boxed out.
Yeah, I mean, really good control so far by Leviathan. Rake now gonna try to get that control back inside of Loki W's favor, as Sergey is also cementing a little bit of a push toward that side lane, but if he doesn't manage to kill Sai here, then there's gonna be a Warden here to deal with as well, and that's gonna be super hard, even with that ultimate. He's gonna get out of that cage though, as maybe gonna be able to get there, but Rake coming in with that burn to get that +10.
And we've seen this so often from Lady Geist players. They try to go for the split push. They don't have really any escape tools, so if you bring numbers, you can take the aristocrat down. This character, the Grey Talon, is one I'll be looking for throughout the map, but it is the Nox Nostra unleashed more for defense than anything by this Mina, just trying to stay alive.
Rake in trouble now as Billy managing to hit those bash downs onto the Celeste. Usually a character that's pretty hard to not lock down, but Earn now being the next style of play as Listic is now trying to get that for Loki W. Looks like they kill Overseas and manage to take that Earn, but Fremog now here to contest it. See if they can end up killing it. Fremog 1 HP, just one more punch, and there it is. Going down, but Hoot and Listic getting traded for it. Even fight so far as Rake goes down, and if they lose any more members, this could actually be a mid-boss maybe for Leviathan, but not really, as both sides come out of this pretty even.
Yeah, everyone beaten, battered, and bruised. I don't think a call for the mid-boss, but maybe an invade, maybe get some shopping done will be in order. The bridge buffs do spawn in about 15 seconds, so if you can secure those for your team, that'll be even better for it. But yeah, that was a pretty bloody affair, but all things considered, Tempo, we're even in terms of souls, so this is an incredible game 3 that we have on our hands as these teams are contesting over the bridge buffs now. Lady Geist will secure one. It looks like Leviathan will secure the other.
Yeah, getting that early fight going for Leviathan proved to be pretty good for them, as even though that Earn, I should say, did get killed, did get delivered. Even fight so far. Loki W, though, in a lot of trouble now as a big fight happening for Leviathan. Not sure they're going to be able to get anything useful out of this, as Cosmetic is also forced to back off Overseas, though still having that chain gang ready. Gotta use it on 2 people, and this could be good. But Doorman trying to get that ultimate, and I believe it bugging out, actually, on that Billy.
I love that combination of the chain gang into the goo ball, right? Just stuns everybody, but all the while, it was Zergy taking down the Walker in lane 2. So will they make this trade now as Irizumi is running the urn for their lives? A couple people looking to contest it. Fortunately, Rayek is here as the Grey Talon. No Owl available. We're going to have another fight on our hands, Tempo. I feel like this has just been an all-out brawl from start to finish.
Yeah, both sides playing super actively. Very different game than what we saw in game 2, and looking pretty good so far for both sides, I would say, actually. But it all comes down to these later fights. Who can actually win out and who can make sure that they get the lead for themselves.
Zergy, the first to fall in this contest. Leviathan, they want more blood. They send in the Owl to stun it up. Break will go down after that. A trap right on top to curse down the Magician. Cosmetical has to do something to deadlift this fight. Still, the urn has not been turned in, and it will be a double for Leviathan. They get the urn as well. That's the turnaround they were looking for.
This is what I was saying, these later fights are just so pivotal, and Leviathan managed to get a very good one. Some would call it luck, some would call it skill, but what matters is that they're gonna capitalize on it. That mid boss is surely gonna go down. That's the #1 objective on Leviathan's mind right now.
Boogermaster sure looking very tasty at this juncture. They don't really have too many things to contest here. The seismic impact, really their big tool. Maybe the Baroness to deny some melees, but they'll try for it anyway. All 3 rejuves will go the way of Leviathan. Even some kills to boot. Listic, no! He will be laid to rest. And now Break is the final remaining member of Loki W, pressing the W key to try to escape, but they'll hunt the unicorn down.
A for effort on that contest, though, I will say, but they're gonna have some time to think about if that was actually the right move, as Leviathan are not gonna pressure this mid Walker, last one to be taken by Leviathan, and Hoot finding himself in a little bit of trouble as well. A lot of members to just get close on him, but he is able to just kite his way out of there with those bells.
They're taking this Walker with extreme prejudice, and they can go and even take more if they want to. Lanes 2 and 3 pushed in their favor, but look at all the denizens that they can gobble up. So I think they're gonna be content with the map state that they have, Tempo, and clean up some of these sinners, some of these denizens.
Yeah, if they can keep the waves in their favor, they're gonna have so much time to just take whatever objectives that they want, and so far, it's been looking pretty good for Leviathan. Just look at those scorelines. Sai with 22 kill participation, 0 deaths. Osis as well with 19. Those two have been a deadly duo so far in this game, but Loki W also not slouching either. Ult's gonna be popped here by this Warden as he reckons that this Doorman was gonna try some stuff, using some early stamina to try and gap close onto this, but Doorman has that door ready, knowing that he's gonna try to play this fight, and just takes his whole team out of there.
Wow. Okay, I thought they were going to go for it. They expended ultimate. They put in so many resources, but the reinforcements did arrive for Leviathan. They do swarm in numbers, these giant beasts. But for now, still some more things to work for. These bridge buffs in 30 seconds as we contest these lane states. This is at the point of the match where it's just about the ebb and flow. How do we push the troopers close to force rotations and then find advantages across the map? So it looks like we'll have a 4-0-2 split for now, but look at all the jungle they have on this left side, Tempo. There's so much economics that they can get.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things to look for right now for both sides. Loki W gonna try to salvage any pieces that they can so Leviathan doesn't get their grubby little hands on them. Leviathan doing the same thing here, taking some good pressure. Listic in a little bit of trouble. Rake shooting those arrows after him, gonna get out of there due to that Doorman, and some might call this Doorman character kind of the reason they're losing right now, but he's doing a really good job of actually utilizing this Doorman to help his team out with a lot of these quick engages that Leviathan managed to put onto Loki W.
But something that Dia on the desk was saying is that this Doorman falls off pretty heavy, and it kind of is a negative to their late game scaling, and the Mina hasn't really popped off as much as we would like, but this is about an urn contest now. The chain gangs rattle through the cursed apple and take down Obi Kim. The soul urn is returned easily from Leviathan. They are firmly in control of this. They want to punch their ticket for revenge against the Abrahams, and it'll start with that urn take, but still the battle rages onward. The Nox Nostra not online for the Mina. She must float away and go hide back in the base.
Leviathan playing this super well. One rejuve did get used there, but Obikim found himself on the short end of the stick as Cosmetical gets taken down on the side of this fight. Hoot now in a little bit of trouble. 2 members down for Loki W, as this could be a pretty good pressure point onto their base, but let's see if they can actually utilize this to their advantage.
I think they utilized the rejuves pretty well, right? They got that mid walker, they took down a set of base guardians, they've opened up the Archmother a little bit to maybe get these shrines in the next push, and then they have map control, so they can jungle backwards, absorb some more econ across the board, and keep Loki W at bay. It's about a 20 or plus soul difference between the squads, but it's the likes of Osis and Rayek who have not fallen so far this game that's really been the catalyst for him for a potential victory.
Yurasumi having that Scourge online now, and that's one of the really powerful items that Leviathan can get in this draft, because they have a lot of these very high base health characters. The Warden's one of the highest base healths in the game, and Scourge, you know, works on any of your allies' max HP, doing 3.5% of their max HP in an aura with spirit damage, also giving you spirit resist. And against this Loki W draft that's basically all spirit and the Geist, I mean, it's definitely one of the really powerful tools that they can get online.
And they have the decay here too, Irizumi, so really utilizing every trick in the book to try to keep their team in the front foot. The doorman, he's like, are you going to go through? Am I going to lock you out? Are you going to chase me? But maybe Fremok might oblige him, but they know it's a trap. The rest of Loki W waiting behind this door should anybody go through it. Leviathan, they've seen this trick before, Tempo. They won't bite.
Max spell as well on this doorman to just leave those bells there for up to close to 30 seconds. Just saying, just building an absolute trap with that door so you can just pop his head in and shoot. That's very, very funny. Almost like a pub type of build, but hey, sometimes you gotta try some wild stuff when you're a competitive team like Loki W, and they're definitely known for being one of these teams with very crazy ideas.
You must be innovative in the game of Deadlock. So many builds and combinations that you can bring. And this is the lower bracket grand finals for a $4,000 grand prize, folks. These teams want to win. There's no jokes about what they're doing. Everything is intentional. The Vortex Web now. What is the meaning of this, Tempo?
I mean, Vortex Web is a really strong item against a lot of these characters. For Doorman especially, it's really good because you can make people go inside of your cart, but not gonna be that important when one is sunlocked all the time. Irizumi gonna go down first, but Hoot and Rake getting taken down. This stick to follow. Osis doing magnificent work on this Warden, just absolutely beaming people out of the sky here. Mina gonna be the next victim if he can manage to find her. Not gonna be able to, as they're gonna back off as they hear that mid-boss bell calling, and that's certainly gonna be their objective.
Osis on a 14-player kill streak, and that was a full-on sweep by Leviathan, showing why they are one of the best of the best. And yes, the mid-boss will be in their sights. You feel like they take this, they take their soul lead, they take it all the way to the base.
Gonna be taking this mid-boss pretty fast. No way that Loki W can contest, so Cosmetical just deciding to clear up some waves. But Sai being ready for this, knowing that they have this time, maybe get a couple of shrines as well, as with these rejuves, they can get a very active early. Obikim and Sergey still having a little bit on their death timers, so they might be able to get both shrines here. Warden just beaming that left shrine down, as the right one as well. Sai was doing a little bit of work on it, but we'll see if they end up doing anything with it.
Oh, wow, Ivy, what? All the way into the base? No, please, you gotta get out of there. The gargoyle trying to fly, but instead will expend one of the Reju crystals and will also expend their life. An overstayed welcome in the Archmother base, but some space created for the bridge buffs to be captured and the urn to at least be picked up. It's now in a disadvantaged state for them. Loki W has some housekeeping to do. Luckily, they have the Doorman here to help them out, but man, their base is just in shambles.
Comeback Urn here maybe being the next target for Leviathan, as they have pretty good waves right now, but Loki W working on that, making sure that they can't just go for this comeback Urn for free. A little bit of focus on these sideways would perhaps be the best thing that Leviathan could do right now, but so far just buying these last couple of items, Siphon Bullets, getting picked up by Osis to maybe try and deal with some of these tanky players that keeps getting in his way.
I mean, 43,000 souls on your Warden. I mean, that's basically full capacity, right? This guy is going to be a raid boss in the battlefields. We were highlighting Hoot on this Doorman, trying to deny some of these ultimates like the Last Stand, like the Chain Gang, the Liking Curse, so on and so forth. And I feel like we haven't seen it too much just yet. And I think at this point, in this juncture of the game, he has to be clutch to keep his team in it. This is going to be maybe one final battle over this urn. And if Leviathan take it clean, they take the game.
Seemingly just playing this very safely as they're creating that space so they can go for this urn. Osis just putting himself front and center and saying, you know what, yeah, come fight me. I have enough tools to survive this, and if I resume me, gonna be the one to go for this urn. One of the lower health people because of those boons, not having that much money, so just getting a little bit kidnapped here is Freemark as well. Hoot just being an absolute nuisance, but I don't know if that was the right call, as Freemark just gets out of there and now there's no hotel guest, so they can just take the second try.
The Chain Gangs once more cross the streets of the Cursed Apple, and this is just going to be the nail in the coffin by Leviathan. The Liking Curse brought forth and looking like they want to take some more down Sergi, the one in the crosshairs, but maybe not the 1v1 you're looking for. They hop back in, the lead kick, the tail whack, everything to disarm the Aristocrat. Ultimates from all sides popped and utilized, but nobody goes down just yet. Still in the aggression mode is Leviathan. One Reju crystal with only 50 seconds left for them to utilize it. Listic, the first one eliminated in this contest. We've seen that before, a four-person bell and almost another kidnap into the secret shop. This is Leviathan's for the taking. They are so close to finishing it out, but low-key hanging on for just a moment.
Doorman using that door to get out of the cage of Warden. Really smart utilization of those doors, as Hoot is just keeping on being a nuisance. Not really much damage to his name, not really much impact per se, but he's just kind of there, making Leviathan just that much more annoyed at the current state. Cosmetical though, gonna try to put up a sort of last defense here. Freemark already very low, gotta be able to pop that Lycan Curse though, as Cosmetical maybe in a bit of trouble here. Sergi gotta fight back though against this big scary wolf, and the Red Hood is pretty safe so far. No wolves to come after.
Oh, well, their base, there's not much left of it for Loki W. However, Leviathan think that they've done enough. They no more Rejus for them to utilize, so they go back. There's farm to grab, potentially set up for this next mid-boss. They have the ultimates to certainly do it. The bridge buffs in about 30 seconds too, and then even the urn. So there's a lot more to play for, but sometimes the patience might bite you in the butt because you have to win a couple more fights, but then sometimes aggression might do the same. But 5,000 plus on this Warden. How do you even begin to think about taking OCs down?
I mean, they need a curse, and that needs to be now. Hoot, I believe, would be the one to go for that curse as his next item, but Overseas gonna pop that ultimate early on, as this could be a pretty big fight.
And it will be maybe the last fight. Into the Baroness Hotel goes the Lycan, and Irizumi is the first to fall. No Reju to bring them back into the fight. A great pickoff onto the little amoeba man. Great from low-key to find some of that burst potential. But still some work to do. For now, Leviathan says, all right, we're down a member. Let's get some of these buffs, some of these urns, and see what we can do next.
Yeah, I mean, really good pick off there by Loki W to just give them a little bit of breathing room, but Rayake gonna get that spirit buff, and at this point in the game, these buffs are worth a lot of souls in terms of just raw numbers, so that great talent is gonna be super scary for the side of Loki W in this next fight.
And has been scary throughout this match, right? We haven't seen too many Owl pickoffs. He doesn't have too many stacks on that, but just the ability, the way that he scales into the game and then getting the bridge buffs as well will definitely make him feel like he's punching more than anything else. OC's under a bit of duress there, but able to get out. The urn just kind of tossed to the wayside as it's all about the hero kills at this juncture. A mounted defense from Loki W as they're posturing to make sure this final urn doesn't get in, but they don't want it to be their final stand. They want that to happen in the base as the Archmother. They need to protect it.
Headed to blue.
Now go for that mid-boss now as they reckon they have a window, but Hoot, once again being this annoying nuisance, has that door to perhaps get his team there a little bit faster. Gonna use that card to give himself a little bit of safety, but looks like it could be a very big contest coming out of Loki W.
They have the ultimates, the Shining Wonders, what I'm looking at for the shoulder charge will open us up. The Warden, the primary target, the last stand not is on cooldown. This Listic guy is taking so much damage, and he will fall 16 for OCs. The Grey Town knocked out of this fight as well, but the Goo Ball barreling